Hey, my name is Chris Brennan of the Astrology Podcast and the astrologyschool.com, and in this video I'm going to be using SolarFire's Animate feature in order to provide a literal overview of the astrology of 2018. And this is a little bit of an experiment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate the chart so that it moves forward 1 second for every day, or 1 day for every second, to show you how the planets are going to move over the course of 2018. So this is a little bit of an experiment, but let's give it a shot and get started. So this is the Animate feature in SolarFire. I've set it up so that Aries is always fixed on the left side of the chart. I've gotten rid of the ascendant and descendant and everything else, even though the location is set for Denver, Colorado, where I'm currently at. So let's press play. So this right here is the chart for noon on January 1st, 2018. You can see there's a full moon that was just about to take place in Cancer. So I'm going to press play now, and what we see is the moon, and the moon starts moving forward about one zodiacal sign every day or every couple of days. It usually takes the moon 2.5 days to move through a single sign. So yeah, and the rest of the planets move through at varying speeds as well, and sometimes they slow down due to sign ingresses and other things like that. So what's going on in 2018. So Jupiter, of course, we can see is in Scorpio. We're already into February. Mars is in Sagittarius by February. Saturn is slowly moving through Capricorn. There we've got a new moon, I believe an eclipse in February. And let's see, Uranus is still in Aries. Later in the year, we'll see it move into Taurus. Pluto, of course, is hanging out, moving very slowly through Capricorn. The rest of the planets are moving relatively rapidly. It looks like Mercury by mid to late March is getting ready to station retrograde in Aries in the first Mercury retrograde of the year. There we go. Mars makes an ingress into Capricorn where it catches up to Saturn by late March, early April. There's that conjunction at around 8 degrees of Capricorn between Mars and Saturn. Jupiter has stationed retrograde up in Scorpio for several months during the course of the year. You can see Uranus now getting very close to the end of Taurus. That's really one of the big alignments of the year, is that ingress of Uranus into Taurus, which we're about to see take place here in May. Around the same time, notice that Mars is getting ready to leave Capricorn and ingress into Aquarius, and that's one of the weird alignments that happens this year, is right there, boom, Uranus goes into Taurus, and then Mars ingresses into Aquarius at the same time. So we actually have a completion of a Mars-Uranus square almost immediately after those two planets ingress into new fixed signs. So let's see, what else is going on? Jupiter's still retrograde. Mercury is long since direct. It makes its superior, or its conjunction with the Sun sometime in June in Gemini. Mars is going through Aquarius, and one of the things you'll see is it's slowing down now and getting ready to station retrograde, which it does there at the end of June. Mars stations retrograde at 9 degrees of Aquarius, and then it begins moving backwards for quite a while. So one of the key things that happens this year is a Mars retrograde occurs about halfway through the year, and then later in the year we get a Venus retrograde. So Mars is retrograde in early Aquarius. We eventually have some more eclipses over the summer. I probably should have displayed the nodes here in this chart so that you could see where the eclipses would take place relative to the nodes, but you can see over in the far right corner that box that says nearest lunar phases does show the eclipse dates and signs. Let's see, so Jupiter's direct again in Scorpio, moving forwards. So by this time in the year, Jupiter's finishing up its run in Scorpio, and it's getting ready to move into Sagittarius later in the year. Mars is stationed retrograde already in Capricorn, and is moving direct again, and then moves back into Aquarius. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, and is about to fall back into Aries for a brief period of time of several months, before eventually moving forward again in Aries and departing that sign permanently for the last time. There's the Venus retrograde where it stations retrograde in early Scorpio already in October, and it's going to retrograde back into Libra. So that's a repetition of a cycle from 8 years ago when it did the same thing. So there's Venus opposing Uranus, and then Venus changes signs and falls back into Libra. And shortly after that, Uranus changes signs and falls back into Aries, which is another one of those interesting overlaps in between ingresses and exact aspects. There's Jupiter ingressing into Sagittarius by November, so Jupiter returning to its home sign. And we enter the final stretch of 2018 in December. Venus is now direct, stations direct in Libra, then moves into Scorpio, and then moves on along its way. Mercury, of course, was retrograde and station direct. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the year. And we're going to stop right there at January 1st, 2019. So that is the astrology, and it looks like that was about 5.5 minutes. So that's the astrology of 2018 at a glance using the animate feature for SolarFire. So people always ask me, so the program I use for this is SolarFire. You can actually get a discount if you use my podcast promo code when you purchase the program, which is the promo code is AP15. Additionally, if that seemed like a lot of work to animate all of those and seemed very confusing to look at all of the different placements over the course of the year like that, because there's just so much information, I also recently released a calendar, or a sort of set of calendars, which basically depicts and displays both the movements of the planets as well as when they will make stations and sign ingresses and other things like that. So it's a pretty cool little thing. You can find out more information about this calendar package at theastrologypodcast.com/2018 posters. And and I'll be shipping those over the next few days. So that's it for this video. My next one is going to be focusing in on what are some of the main aspects you should pay attention to in 2018. So if you have any comments about what you think the major aspects or the major astrological alignments are that you're looking forward to this year, then please let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.